Snowboarding's tough, because you've got to go to the mountains. For me, I love the skateboard season because I get to hang out at home and still be skating. I don't have to travel to Norway or Japan or these crazy places to be snowboarding. I played rugby most of my life and then I switched to snowboarding, which provided me a lot of inspiration. I actually started snowboarding when I was 7 years old, so I felt very comfortable auditioning for a snowboarding movie, and I thought that would give me some leg up. I'm a good Canadian girl. I miss all that good stuff. I miss tobogganing and I miss snowboarding. But I've also learned to surf and I've become a water baby, which I used to be relatively terrified of the water, and I kayak all the time now, and I'm able to run year-round on the beach, which you can't obviously do in Canada. If I died snowboarding, you could honestly tell everybody in the world that Jeremy London died happy. I'm from Wisconsin, and I love snowboarding, hiking, yoga and soccer. I tried snowboarding, and that scared the hell out of me. I grew up born and raised in Las Vegas and actually grew up skiing. You know, we've got some ski resorts close to Las Vegas, up in Mount Charleston or Bryan Head, so I grew up skiing and snowboarding. Growing up with 4 older brothers, we were into everything. They started snowboarding when I was just a tiny button, and I loved watching them shredding in the backyard. After seeing them compete in a few contests, it was all over. I idolized the sport from day one. I love snowboarding, but I would never want to do it competitively or at a professional level. Snowboarding is a spawn of skating, and skating is my passion. The X Games have done night and day for snowboarding and action sports. I always say snowboarding saved my life. It gave me a reason to focus on the future. It gave me something to be passionate about. I had a snowboarding accident. I fell off a horse. I've had a concussion, a fractured rib. I walk into walls. I'm always bruised up. I tried snowboarding at 14, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I snowboarded every day off I had, every weekend I had off of school, every holiday we had off from school, and it became a huge part of my life. Not just what I love to do, but really just kind of who I was. Cloud 9 Foot is an action/romantic comedy that focuses on the competitive world of snowboarding. We have glamorized it so that all the players are on the cover of magazines, have all the interviews, and be on the television, so it is very high stakes. If you eat the same cereal every day, it's gonna get old. And if I had thought about snowboarding every day, I would have quit a long time ago. All through high school, I was incredibly healthy. I loved the outdoors, and I loved snowboarding because of the freedom. Pfizer's actually teamed up with my non-profit organization, which is called Adaptive Action Sports. I co-founded this organization in 2005 to help people with physical disabilities get involved in action sports, go snowboarding, skateboarding. Snowboarding. I love it. Some of the best places to snowboard are Telluride and Park Cities, Utah. I've been snowboarding my whole life. My wife's really good, and I just try to keep up with her. My hobbies are linked to the way I want to play soccer. I want to do different action things, like kite surfing, snowboarding, mountain biking, freeriding with skis. I like these sports in my free time, and it could be a big link with how I want to play soccer. I haven't really done a whole lot of daring stuff. Like when I go snowboarding, I don't go in the terrain park. The world of extreme sports is also one of big business. Kids might think that snowboarding is the ultimate freedom, but this freedom is being marketed to them by commercial sponsors. Now I'm doing more snowboarding, but I have to get back into surfing again. I got a script sent to me at this office and I got a call from a woman. Universal's doing a snowboarding movie. I'm not in it yet, but I'm supposed to meet with the director in New York soon. I'm waiting to hear back from them. In snowboarding, I've always looked at really strong competitors through a lens of gratitude rather than envy, in the sense that the better my competition is, the more it forces me to work hard, focus, and be better myself if I want to succeed, which I do. All of a sudden you have this feeling of clarity. Backcountry snowboarding has really done a lot to boost that feeling in me. I love extreme sports. I like snowboarding and motocross and rollerblading and hockey. When I'm snowboarding, I just feel stronger and more flexible and more able to trust my instincts, because there are times when you really do have to be mindful with the jumps you're hitting and the conditions that you're riding in. I'm a big sports guy: golf, tennis, baseball, basketball, snowboarding, and I love games. I went through a period at boarding school when my coaches wanted me to switch to snowboarding because they thought I was no good at skiing. I was too skinny. I had terrible technique. They were saying I should be a snowboarder, and luckily, I resisted. I belong to an improv group, I play cello, I have these phases: fencing, taekwondo, baseball, ice hockey, boogie boarding in the summer, snowboarding in the winter. I kind of had to figure stuff out on my own and get myself snowboarding competitively again. I went through all types of different legs to try to learn which were going to work for me. Luckily, I was able to figure it out. I've reached my goal with snowboarding. I have been snowboarding since I was 7 years old. There are not many places in the world where you can get to the beach in an hour, the desert in 2 hours, and snowboarding or skiing in 3 hours. You can do all that in California. My experience and what I do in snowboarding is really quite independent of the industry, and the more independent it is, the more pure and better I feel about snowboarding. But, I understand that Blackcomb and Whistler are supposed to be great for snowboarding, so I am looking forward to going there someday soon. I simply do the things that inspire me, be that snowboarding, designing clothing, or dancing. I go to all of the trade shows, know a lot of the people making marketing decisions, and I want to keep my finger on the pulse of snowboarding. I'm riveted by extreme sports like big wave surfing, megaramp skateboarding, and half-pipe snowboarding. I'm fascinated partly because the sports are so exhilaratingly acrobatic, but I'm also captivated by the fear that a terrible accident might happen at any moment. And accidents do happen. I love the sport of snowboarding so much, but I just don't want to talk about it, ever. Yeah, my dream would be to work for 6 months and then have 6 months to play, just snowboarding, surfing, and going to cool places to listen and be alone and kinda chill out. There are no rules in snowboarding. I personally think skateboarding is harder because it has so many moving parts. With snowboarding, your feet are strapped to your board. When I was 20, I was living in the Alps, snowboarding and studying political science. I blew out my knee, and I began to realize my days in the sport were numbered. The reality was I would never be a pro. I think the Winter Olympics are definitely on a smaller scale than the Summer Games, but with the inclusion of cool new sports like slope-style skiing and snowboarding, it is going to breathe new life into them and attract a whole new crowd. I'm not really good at skiing or snowboarding or swimming, per se. I love snowboarding. It's probably my favorite sport. I love sitting on top of the mountain and the snow falling and that silence, that snow silence. That's, like, a very peaceful, happy place for me. I totally forget about snowboarding in the summertime. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.